Hello, hello, my dear health seekers. Inga from Health Origins here. I'm just adjusting my lighting so you can see me well. And welcome to Cook Along for Weight Loss show. So tonight, it's a super exciting, quick and delicious recipe, vegan mozzarella that we're going to be making. And just to make sure you guys are hearing me okay. Just to double check, yeah, you should be. So let's begin. So here I've got a cup of soaked cashews. So you need to soak them at least for 2 or 3 hours or overnight. And then you need to drain them. And if you shorten time, which I was actually today, what you can do, you can pour boiling water over it, and then you only need 30 minutes to soak cashews. So this is 1 cup of cashews, and I'm going to be putting everything in my Thermomix, the blender, because I'm going to be heating with this as well. But, by all means, use a normal stovetop pot on a cooker, and that will work just fine. So I'm adding 1 cup of soaked cashews here. Then I've got a cup of soy yogurt. So this is homemade soy yogurt. It's really chunky. It's kind of like Greek style yogurt, if you like. And I have a recipe of how to make this easily from just soy milk, plain soy milk. And I'm going to link it in the card above and in the description below as well. So 1 cup of yogurt. Then we've got 1/2 cup of water. Need a little bit more liquid, yeah. Then I've got 1 teaspoon of salt. So we're going to add 1 teaspoon of salt here. And at this point, right, you can blend this mixture and let it ferment for 12 to 24 hours in the fridge. And that way you get a little bit more sour kind of mozzarella style cheese. And I've heard from a couple of people saying that they prefer it fermented. But for the quickness, I'm going to just make it without fermenting because my yogurt is fairly acidic. So it should have a little bit of tang. Mozzarella is quite a mild cheese anyway. It's not like super tangy. So you could do that. But because we're going to be cooking it right away, you need 3 tablespoons of tapioca or arrowroot powder or starch, or sometimes it's called flour. So it's basically starch. So I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of that. And then, because this will give it kind of like the gooey consistency, but because we want our mozzarella to set into like a harder cheese, I'm also going to be using carrageenan, which is like seaweed-based thickener instead of gelatin. It's called, the one that I've got is called Veggie Set, but there might be different brands where you are using it. So it says gelling agent, carrageenan, and then there's a couple of other ingredients, but it's mainly carrageenan basically, because I have made the original mozzarella that you can find on my channel with the agar powder, and I'm not a fan of that one because I can taste quite chemically taste at the back of it. It's quite strong, I find. So that's why I'm going to try first time with the carrageenan, because when I tried to do it with a dessert, it didn't have that artificial taste. So that's why I'm going to be trying it on this mozzarella. So you need, because this is going to be about a pint, so you need a heaped teaspoon of this carrageenan set powder. So let me just pour this in a little bit. So just a heaped teaspoon, it says, basically per pint. Because we already got tapioca, it should be okay. should be enough, even though it's probably a little bit more than a pint of mixture we're gonna get. So I'm gonna blend this all in my Thermomix, and I'm gonna mute my microphone for a moment, for a minute, until we get that blended, because it's so loud. You've heard me do that live on air, and it's super, super loud. Don't know why. It's sometimes my Thermomix doesn't want to come on, the lid doesn't want to go on. So yeah, so I'm gonna mute myself here, and I'm gonna catch up with you after about a minute and a half, maybe, or a minute blending. I apologize, I wasn't actually muted, guys, so it must have been pretty loud at the very start for you. But yes, so this is perfect. So our cheese mixture is now nice and smooth. It only took us a minute. If your blender is not as powerful, you could maybe do it for a minute and a half. And it smells quite, I don't know, quite cheesy. Not too strong, but I can smell the acidity a little bit, and smells nice from that yogurt mixture with cashews. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put it on for, let's say, maybe 6 minutes, and we basically, what we want to do, we want to heat this through until it starts boiling, bubbling, and then it'll be pretty much ready. So you can do that. Just pour that mixture into your pot, a non-stick pot, and just heat it up slowly on your hob as well. So yeah, so and while it's doing that, I'll explain what I did here. So I already prepared the brine. So the brine is just 3 cups of cold water, and it says ice cold, so I had some ice in this, but it already melted. And within that, what's that word now? Melted, not melted, mixed in 2 tablespoons of salt. So this is pink Himalayan salt. So 2 tablespoons. So that's kind of our brine. You know how you can buy in the shops the mozzarella, the regular mozzarella, in kind of a liquid, a brine. So this is the brine that we're going to be dropping our cooked mozzarella, and then that should harden straight away, because it's, from hot, it reaches the cold, and then carrageenan just solidifies, and they become more kind of solid. Not going to be completely solid, but I hope I haven't put too much of carrageenan, guys, because we already got some tapioca starch. You maybe need actually less carrageenan than a teaspoon. So I guess we'll experiment. So this is the first time I'm making it that way. Instead of agar-agar, I'm using the carrageenan. So we'll find out, I guess. But yeah, because mozzarella, it's got some give to it, so it shouldn't be like hard balls anyway. So we'll see whether I've actually overdone with the powder or not. So yeah, and that then once you drop all of the blobs of cheese in here, you can keep that in the fridge for about 5 days, and you know it keeps, which is great. So you can be enjoying your vegan mozzarella, you know, in your salads all week long. So that's the brine here. So let's have a look. So now it's saying it's 110, although I can't see it bubbling. Yeah, so basically our goal is to get it to boiling point where the tapioca, well, this one actually is, yeah, it's tapioca. So where the tapioca starch, or arrowroot if you're using arrowroot, where it starts to thicken, and then we're going to be taking tablespoons of this and dropping into the brine. I've got a plate here, a couple of utensils just to try the cheese once we finish it. Smells good, but somehow it's not. Just say 110, but it's not actually hot. So I don't know what's happening. You know what? I think we'll have to, for some reason, this is not heating up, guys. So maybe my Thermomix is just playing tricks on me. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just bring my, what you call it, induction hob here, and do it in the pan instead. Sorry, technical difficulties. So we'll just, because it's actually quicker on the hob anyway. So not sure why it's being awkward like that. But this should work. I'll just get a pan. Right, so let me heat that up. Put it on here. That is so bizarre. Why is, well, it actually is hot, but the outside wasn't hot, and it's yeah, and it was showing 110, but really wasn't bubbling yet. Although at the bottom it's starting to thicken, because there's bits that actually at the bottom have thickened up already. So it was working. I just didn't have enough patience, it seems like. Another thing, you want to kind of, the good thing about Thermomix is I will probably needed to do it on a little bit faster turning cycle, because you want to keep on mixing. You want to keep on mixing this cheese so that it does not become too lumpy, that it kind of distributes, and it's actually too hot on the 5. Yeah, so it's starting to get a little bit lumpy here. I need to put some elbow grease in mixing it up, and it's actually best to do it with a whisk. It works really well with the whisk. And I'll need to drop, once it's all bubbling up, which is starting to, and then I'll need to start dropping it in water and see how the cheese sets. Yeah, it smells good. You probably don't want to heat it up too much because, like I said, make sure you keep on mixing to avoid the lumps. I mean, at first it might look it's getting lumpy, but then if you keep on mixing, they just become smoothed out again. Yeah, it's working with a spatula too, but like I said, it's a little bit easier with a whisk because my the pot is non-stick, and I'll link to my kitchen utensils. So this induction hob and the salter pan I'm using, I'll link below for you as well. Because it's non-stick, I kind of don't want to really use metal to scrape too much because I want my non-stick coating to last me a long time. So yeah, so use just either silicone or wood utensils in that case. Yeah, so it's really now thick, as you can see. It's like, I'm gonna switch it off actually. So now it's nice and it's kind of smoothed out. So what I'm gonna be doing is, I'm gonna be taking a spoon here and dropping bits of mozzarella cheese, vegan mozzarella cheese, into the water and letting them set like this. It's pretty magic. If you can see this, it's pretty. I find it satisfying when you see kind of different shapes of cheese dropping in and setting more. It's pretty class. You can do them smaller or bigger, how you like it. It's not perfect. They're all going to be kind of weird shapes, but that's kind of how normally, well, actually store-bought, I think they come more in a more regular shapes. But here you're not going to get perfect shape. It's going to be whatever. And then just continue doing until you use up all of your, and there's quite a lot still, actually half a batter left. So perhaps, because they will sink a little bit, because they're now all on the surface, so we could maybe try and sink them a little bit to fit more in. Because as soon as it kind of touches cold water or cold spoon, it starts to really set rapidly. There we go. There's a couple more to do. Oh, it's overflowing nearly. So make sure you've got a big enough container to contain all your pieces of mozzarella in there. And that is it. There's maybe a small one to combine from all of that. There we go. So yeah, so we've got full container here. And I'm gonna fish one out. And obviously make sure the colder, your liquid is, the better, because the quicker they're gonna start cooling. And just fishing one out. It's looking pretty good, guys. It's kind of nice and squidgy still, so not too hard, because I was afraid that maybe I put a little bit too much of carrageenan and it's not going to have that softness of the mozzarella. So let me taste test this for you. It's a little bit, I think it kind of needs to set a little bit more, because the water has warmed up, obviously, because I put a lot quickly, and my ice has disappeared, the water has warmed up, so it hasn't kind of fully set. So, you know, put a little bit more ice if you've got, and a little bit maybe more bigger container too. Yum. That's nice. Like I say, it's a little bit too warm still, right? So it's not cold, not fully set yet. But the texture, the taste, it's kind of not too sour. Maybe, like I said, if you wanted to, however, to do it quickly like me, but wanted it to be a little bit tangier, because this one is not very tangy at all. Just slightly, but not that much, because it was just a cup of yogurt. So what you can do, maybe add a tablespoon or two of, maybe start with 1 tablespoon or even a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar, and see, you know, taste it before you add the carrageenan, taste the mixture itself. If you like the tanginess, if not, maybe add another one. So apple cider vinegar will work. Or, like I said, you do the mixture without tapioca and without carrageenan powder, and ferment it in the fridge in a container, closed container, for 12 to 24 hours for it to become tangier itself, naturally fermented. So that is it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you'll give it a go, and let me know how it worked out for you. If you have any questions, please leave them below, and I'll be happy to answer them after I finish here, because I can't cook and answer your questions at the same time. But I'll be happy to answer them after the show. And if you're new here, welcome, and subscribe for more live cook-alongs like this, or videos that I add every Wednesday. So videos on Wednesdays, and my live cook-along for weight loss show every Sunday at 7 o'clock GMT time. And remember, guys, food is fuel. So be mindful of what you put in your body. Until next time.